So welcome back. Last time we met, we just started to integrate a library called p5.js into our Bootstrap page. If you need to find the reference for p5.js, you just go to p5js.org and you can find all the goodies that they have to offer. Once again, p5 is a library that allows us to write some cool JavaScript code that can animate things, draw things, allows for creative code. It's pretty fun. And if you want to know what you can do with it, click on that button that says reference right there. The reference tells you pretty much everything that you're able to do with p5.js. Now we started a little bit. The only thing we set is we created a canvas, which we can draw on, and we set the background to be black. Can we all see that? Here, we created a variable called canvas. We stored a function in it that created this black canvas right here. And then we set its parent to be jumbo canvas, which means that in our index.html file, the Jumbotron div right here with the ID of jumbo canvas is now holding our black box. That's all we did so far. Then below that in our draw function, we set the background to 0, which by the way, you can set to whatever you want. You can set it to 100, 0, 255. If you save that, by the way, it'll just change the background to like gray. So 255 will be white, 0 will be black, etc., etc. But this time around, we're going to start to draw some things on our canvas. Now, really quickly, let's talk about this canvas, okay? So our canvas is, you see how we put 800 by 400 there? What 800 by 400 actually means, and I'm going to show you really quickly, here's what we're talking about. When I set up this function, this setup function right here, to create my canvas, what it's actually doing is it is drawing inside my jumbo canvas div. It's creating this 800 by 400 div that kind of looks like this. This is my canvas, right? And on this canvas, we can start to draw things using the grid methodology. And the grid methodology is saying we're going to take this, which is the x, the distance, 800, from here to here. And we're going to take this, which is the y distance, 400 from here to here. And we can use that to plot any kind of shapes, figures, items, images, whatever you're feeling. So we're going to use this guy right here to kind of draw out where we want things to be. What we can do is we could say, I want something, or if I want to, and by the way, we're going to draw a little Tron motorcycle. If I want to draw a Tron motorcycle, and if you don't know what Tron looks like, it's kind of like this. Two little wheels and like a little, like one of those kind of things. That's the worst Tron motorcycle of all time. Yeah, it looks like a Twinkie sort of with wheels. A Twinkie with wheels, right? I get it. I'm a terrible artist, I know, but I'm trying, and that's half the battle, right? I didn't get an art degree, guys. I got a science degree, so that's the best I can do for you. And it kind of looks like a bus. Doesn't matter. We're going to draw it, but we're going to make sure we use this grid system to tell P5 where to place all of our shapes. So let's take a look at what shapes we have here. We have circles, 2 circles for the wheels, right? And then we have a Twinkie type rectangle type thing for the body of the bike, okay? We're probably going to want to curve that bike so it looks more Tron-y, but this is essentially what we're trying to do. Now when we start placing things, all we have to do is specify how far in the X direction do we want them to go, and how far in the Y direction do we want them to go. So if I place something at 200 in the X direction, that means I'm traveling 200 from right here. That actually probably be something like, yeah, right there is about 200. Because I would say half of this is 400. That would be about 200. So right there in the X direction, if I place something at 200, 200, then it would be 200 wide and 200 long. So it would be about right there. That would be the starting point for any of my items if I put them at, 200, 200. I just put zeros there. What am I doing? 200, 200. So using this grid makes things easy to place any of the shapes we want onto our canvas. Here's what that looks like when you actually start doing it. When you want to create a shape, you have to use the name of the shape. And in our case, we're going to do 2 shapes, right? A circle and a rectangle. We need 2 circles, actually. 2 circles and a rectangle. So if we look at the p5.js documentation, we can scroll down to where it says shapes. And and you'll see two different options we have here that are going to address our needs. The rect option, which makes rectangles, and the ellipse option, which allows us to make ellipses, ovals, circles. So let's take a look at the rect option really quickly. If you click on the rect option, it's going to give you this cool little explanation on how to draw rectangles, and how to draw rectangles with rounded corners, which is what we're actually going to do. So if you scroll down a little bit, it tells you right here that we have a couple different parameters that we can put into our rect function that draws the rectangle. The first one is the x-coordinate, the distance in the x direction. And the second one is the y-coordinate, the distance in the y direction. The third one is the width of the rectangle, and the fourth one is the height of the rectangle. And if you want to draw it out, it just has to look like this. Rect, with an opening parentheses and a closing parentheses, and 4 numbers separated by commas. So let's go ahead and draw our first rectangle. Let's go in here and say rect, and then let's draw it at 100, 100, and let's make it 150 wide and 50 tall. And if you do this and you save it and you refresh this page, you should see a rectangle somewhere in this area of your canvas. Go ahead and try that really quickly. Make sure you have a rectangle appearing on your canvas after you save your file. If you don't, something may have been wrong with your function, or you misplaced a comma or used a number incorrectly. So now that we have a rectangle on the screen, let's actually adjust some of those parameters so that it looks a little bit bigger, and we're also going to try and round the edges. So the first thing we're going to do, change this first number at 100 to just 50. And then change the second number right here to, let's go with 200. So that it's 200 down in the middle of the page and 50 from the left. And then let's keep it at 50, but let's make it actually 80 tall. And if you save this, it should then look like this now. Does everyone's look like this? If you do, you're good. If you didn't, let's see what went wrong. Yeah, and so if you go back to the p5.js, it actually shows you exactly how to curve the corners. If you put another comma and then one more number, that'll curve the corners, rounding the corners, each having a radius of whatever you put right here. In this case is 20. We'll do that in a second, but first I want you to go back and actually click on the ellipse option under shapes. The ellipse option allows us to make circles or ovals or ellipses to the screen. And it works the same way the rect function works. All you do is you put the x direction, how far from the left, the y direction, how far from the top, the height and width, or width and height, I believe. Yes, here we go. And you can see what each of the parameters are right here. If that doesn't make sense to you, it makes a little more sense when you actually start drawing it out. So let's draw a couple ellipses. Let's say ellipse, right below it. Let's set it the same distance, 50. The same height, 200. But let's make it 80 by 80. So when you save this and you refresh, you should get something that looks like this. That's all kinds of messed up car, right? That's the wheel on the top. Doesn't look right. So what do we have to change to push that wheel down further so that it's actually down here that it looks like a real motorcycle? This second argument right here, the second parameter, we need to change to something more than 200. So what should I change it to? Let's try 250. If you save at 250, okay, that looks kind of nice. Well, slightly nicer, right? We could probably even make it even more. Let's go 275. See what that looks like. Or 276. Let's go 275. Okay. Does that look a little bit better? I think so. We're getting closer. If you want to go to like 260, you can too. Whatever you feel looks the best. Cool? But motorcycles don't have one wheel. How many wheels do they have? 2. So give me some parameters. Give me some numbers here. 4 numbers that are going to get me another wheel in the right place. You want to go with 100? Okay. Then what? 90. Oh, you want to go with 90 instead? We can go with 90. What about the Y direction? Let's go with 260. Okay. How big do you want it to be? 80 by 80. Got you. Let's check it out now. Uh-oh. So 90 doesn't seem to be enough, right? Does that look like a motorcycle? What's wrong with that wheel? It looks like, yeah, like a chariot, basically. That's not exactly what we want. So what variable or what number should I change here? 90 to what? What do you want to change it to? 150? Let's try it. Okay. So we can keep guessing and checking here, or we can start to think this out really quickly. This first circle is 50 from the left, but not the edge of the circle. The middle of the circle is 50 from the left. Okay? Is being pushed 50 from the left. So in this case, by the way, it's 80 wide, so it's going from here 80 wide and 80 tall. But it's being pushed 50 from the left, so it's about 40. The radius is about 40, and it's giving us a distance of about 10 from the side. So in this case, this one's about 150 away. But we know that the length of this rectangle is 150. So 50 from the left, it's 150 long. What does this number have to be right here to exactly be in the middle of this bike on the other side? Let's try it. Okay, there we go. See that? Now let's go ahead and round off the edges of the rectangle just like we said. Jesse, what were you saying? What number should we put there? Comma, then what? You want to go with 18? Let's check it out. Ta-da! There we go. That looks a lot more like a little Tron motorcycle, huh? Now we're getting a lot closer. Cool. Let's make it look way cooler really quickly, and then we'll end this video here. Let's add some color to it, and I'm going to rep LA because you know how we do. Right above ellipse, I just want you to write in fill, F-I-L-L, and then you're going to write another data type right in here, which is called a string, which you're going to start with quotation, double quotations, and we're going to write in Dodger Blue and save it. Now, what's interesting here is which of these do you expect to be filled in Dodger Blue? Both of the what? Both of the wheels. Why not the actual body of the bike? The fill is placed after the rectangle. So let's see if we get what we thought. Uh-oh. What happened?
The entire thing got blue.
Interesting. Wonder why. Look, right above rect, type in fill, and then go with something like 0. And see if anything changes. Ta-da! Or 255. Let's make it white. Bam! There we go. That's some Dodgers. That's some Dodger colors right there. I'm feeling a lot better about this.
Wait, so the numbers make them?
So, exactly. So these numbers right here, we can use 0 to 255 to be anywhere from black to white. Or we can use a string data type of Dodger Blue that tells us to fill this in Dodger Blue. Now you're going to learn soon we could actually use hex colors here or RGBA also, but I'm going to keep it here for now, end this video, and I'll post all my code into Slack. If you have any questions, let me know.